Defending in Siege can be very hard for the average player right now, which is why I'll be giving you 17 tips for defense in Rainbow Six Siege. The first of which being that you only ever want to hold angles if you're doing it for a swing. If I know, hey, there's a guy in trophy right here, and I'm sitting and holding the common pixel angle from this doorway onto the trophy door, and this guy quick peeks me, then I know when I'm on this door that he knows that I'm here. So why would I continue to hold the angle? I'm just gonna get pre-fired, right? It doesn't make sense. A lot of you are holding angles just to get pre-fired, and you're wondering how you're getting pre-fired, why you're dying when you're holding angles, and when you're holding tight angles with an ACOG. You just don't get it. It's because you're never really supposed to hold angles in this game. Literally ever. If you're on defense, I can understand why some people might think that it's good to hold certain angles, even with a shotgun. But the only reason you'd ever hold angles, especially even with a shotgun, is to swing. Because in this game, it is swing or be swung, due to a number of different factors that I'll talk about later. But you only ever want to hold angles if it's for information. So, if I'm holding this angle, I'm holding this angle because I'm waiting for the information of the guy crossing my screen to hug the left side of this door so that I can swing and kill him. That's how you want to be holding angles. I'm not holding the angle to see if anybody, like, tries to take a gunfight with me. That's not why I'm holding the angle. I'm holding the angle to get the info if someone runs across so then I can get a free kill. It's an info angle. Let's take these head holes for example as well. Most people play these head holes wrong, and it's why you're losing rounds on this site, I promise you. People will sit and hold the trophy door to master right here, like this, or they'll sit and they'll hold armory like this. This is terrible, because if someone's swinging you right here, they're gonna see your shoulder first, and you won't have time to react and kill them. Instead, you'd want to hold the angle like this. Very, very tight, so when they swing, you have info, and you can reswing and peek them. That is the only time you should be holding angles. If that's the only time you're ever going to hold angles, then what do you do the rest of the time? This brings me into my second tip. You want to be swinging literally everything. Like I said earlier, even when I'm holding angles, the only time I'm holding angles is because I'm about to swing somebody. This is why shotguns are so easy for people who are trying to outgun skill people, or especially somebody like me who likes to swing a lot. If I know someone is on this trophy door and they're about to swing me, I'd rather swing them than be swung on, especially because you're having to rely on things like reaction time, server differences, ping differences, Wi-Fi, lag, whatever it may be. All those things can make it to where they see you before you see them. But if you're swinging, you have that advantage now and they don't. So if you swing because you know they're there because they're making noise, whatever it may be, you're easily going to get that kill. Easily, especially with a shotgun, whenever you only have to shoot them one time, that is a free kill. You never want to be sitting and holding this angle like this and then waiting for them to cross. You want to hear them get close to the door, and once you pinpointed their location, easy kill, right? Every single time. Swing everything you possibly can. But there's a caveat to this, which brings me into my third point. You want to be managing your aggression properly. So when people say swing or be swung, or swing everything like I just did, they imagine just literally swinging every doorway all the time ever. They're swinging literally everything, being super aggressive. That's not it. There's a difference between swinging every gunfight you take and taking every gunfight. I want you to listen to that again. There is a difference between taking every gunfight versus swinging when you get into a gunfight. There is a very, very large difference there. If I'm down in man count on defense, I want to be playing really aggressive because I need to even out that man count so they don't have multiple people surrounding me, getting the bomb down and overwhelming me. That's just how the game works. If you're up in man count, they have to come to you since they're on attack, so just be passive. You don't really have to swing anybody, right? So let's say I'm up on man count and I'm playing top floor Oregon and I know there's a guy in trophy and I know that there's a guy in master trying to get the wall open unsuccessfully, and I have 4 teammates, or maybe even just 3. I don't need to be on the trophy door swinging, kids. I don't need to be on these head holes right here trying to swing top main, swing trophy. I don't need to swing. They have to come to us. We have all the time in the world. Instead, I can hold angles like this and only swing whenever they get close to me and they're about to swing me. I'm still swinging everything, but I'm doing it in a passive way and only when I need to. This is managing aggression, especially in a man count way, instead of just literally taking every gunfight you possibly can because you heard the term swing or be swung and you didn't understand what it meant until now. My next tip, if you want to be a better defender in Siege, is to utilize punch holes. These are being really underutilized right now because people just kind of forgot they existed, but you can use these to get free kills. Actually, though, I wouldn't recommend doing that. I'd recommend using punch holes for information baiting. If I have a bunch of punch holes here, let's say I have like at least 5 or 6 or 7, whatever it may be, some head height right here, some crouch height, some prone height, whatever it may be. If I'm an attacker trying to attack blue from oil pit or from secret stairs, this is really scary to look at, right? So not only am I going to be more passive on attack and, you know, actually try to drone it out a bit more so it wastes time, not only am I going to do that, but also I'm going to pre-fire this, right? If I see that there's people here, oh, pre-fire, 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 right? That will give you, the defender, who's sitting on this reinforcement, information as to where they are. If they're pre-firing where I was, you're going to see the bullet tracers and you're going to go up to them and get a free kill. If they're pre-firing from close on the wall like this, you'll see those bullet tracers while you're on the wall, and then you'll swing and pre-fire the kid, right? So you can use punch holes as not only a way to add ghost pressure, to waste time because they're scared, but also as a way to information bait. Let's continue this example. There's some walls like this one where, let's say I'm an attacker and I'm dropping Moto Hatch. If I'm swinging this door, I'm only worrying about these VTOLs. Then I worry about the rotate, then I worry about that door, then I worry about the bomb chassis, and then I can go for the plant once the site's clear, right? It's very easy for me to just go from one angle to the next by clearing it and doing so very efficiently. However, you can add punch holes to make this a lot more difficult. Let's say I have a punch hole right here, or I have some chairs broken right here that catch people's eyes, or I have head holes here that are reversible and usable for defenders. Now all of a sudden, because I just have a punch hole and I punched a few chairs, as an attacker, it's way scary for me to push. I quickly this, oh, there's a head hole there. I don't know whether to pre-fire the feet holes or the head holes. Now you have a 50-50 chance of winning that gunfight instead of a 100% chance because you're pre-firing from a quick peek. If I have these chairs broken, I'm thinking, oh, okay, door, oh, that chair's broken, gotta peek that. Okay, maybe what if other chairs are broken, right? Let's slowly quick peek this, quick peek this, quick peek this, slowly, right? And then you can be behind that reinforcement and swing them once you know they're quick peeking, or vice versa from other angles. It doesn't matter, right? But just adding an additional punch hole angle can really help you in your ranked games. Something else that can really help you win ranked games is getting on cams in the early round. So the thing about solo queue is, again, you cannot trust your teammates to do what they need to be doing, whether it's because you have different playstyles or just because your teammates are bad. Trust me, I know. So in the early round, if everybody's alive, you can guarantee that your teammates don't have the brain power to be on cameras. So you should be the person that is on that cameras because you can't really rely on your teammates to do it. Not only does this make it to where you have a lot more information than you previously did, but if anybody's spawning on the exterior cameras immediately, you can tell where all of them respawned. If you can tell where all of them respawned, you can generally tell as well where they're going to push because of where they spawned. You can also get information as to what operators they're playing, so you know how to play around them and counter them, so it gets you a lot of early round information. Not only this, but if you relay that information to your team, they get all of those benefits as well. Let's say you have a roamer roaming somewhere on coastline, let's say in Sunrise, but everybody spawned main door, and you're playing kitchen. Now you can be like, hey, go play vert on top of service through the floor holes inside of penthouse so you can get a free kill on anybody on the door. Or hey, prep a run out on the double window to hop out on them because they're all pushing the service door, right? Instead of him just uselessly being in Sunrise where no one is pushing, now he's actively helping in the exact way that you want him to, or he'll at least have the information on what you want him to do. Maybe he wants to do his own thing, but he'll at least have the information on where they're pushing, which can greatly help your roamers waste time, which I've talked about on this channel being paramount for your success as a Rainbow Six Siege player. This goes hand in hand with my next tip, which is getting off of your cameras if someone dies. Now, like I said, you can't really trust your teammates in solo queue, but what you can trust is a lot of them get bored. So if you get on cams and you notice that your teammates are flipping through cameras, then you know if they're dead, you can get off camera safely, especially if you have a Valkyrie or a Maestro or an Echo on your team that dies. They really like using their cameras. That's the whole reason they play the operator. So you can count on them to watch your cameras, and then you're not wasting an extra person on cameras for flank watch, which is an extra gun up on the field, an extra angle that's being watched so they can't sneak into the bomb site and get the bomb down. Something else that you need to learn late round on defense is learning when to come back to site. Too often do I see roamers that are roaming for way too long. Now, I've said time and time again that a roamer's job is to waste time, but it only comes to a certain extent. The job of a roamer is to waste time so they don't get to site, but if they're already on site, then you haven't done your job, so you might as well come back to site to help your team. I see a lot of people playing Cav, playing Vigil, playing Wamai, playing Alibi, or any number of roamers that are just off site when it's a 3v5. Good rule of thumb, if there are only 3 defenders on the board, go back to site. 4 allows a little bit of people to hold the objective, or maybe an extra roamer so that you have time to get back to the site, or it makes it to where you're able to roam if all 3 of your teammates are on the site. But if there's ever just you and 2 other teammates, get back to site. There is no reason for you to be roaming, because if that many of your teammates are dead, chances are they're already on the site and your teammates need you for help. Now, I see a lot of people also trying to go for a flank and get a hero play down, whether it be through an interrogation or just a multi-kill. Don't do this. Swallow your pride, swallow your ego, and just go back to site. You'll end up winning the round instead of losing it, which is much more important than a TikTok clip that you're going to post that only gets 4 views in the first place. So please, just go back to site if you only have 2 teammates left. Something else you need to learn how to do properly if you are defending is how to trick walls. This can be done with impacts, with Cade, with Bandit, or with Turbo, even Mute on some occasions, but I doubt you'll ever do that, so don't even worry about it. If you know there is a wall that needs to be opened by attackers, but they have a Thatcher, they have EMPs, or they have a way to get that wall open that you can't counter, what you need to be able to learn how to do is Bandit Trick. If you can be a good Bandit Tricker, you can get both of the walls completely opened and they can't do anything about it, even though they brought utility to do things, which makes it to where they have to rotate their push, they have to waste time, and it'll probably end up winning you the round because they can't get the bomb down. The same can be said for Cade, the same can be said for Turbo, the same can be said for the combination of two operators, whether it be Bandit and Cade if there's a lot of walls, or Cade and Turbo if they have a lot of EMPs. So you need to learn how to trick walls because it can actually be the difference between you winning or losing. I say that phrase a lot on my channel, but this genuinely is the reason why I win games sometimes, because I just know how to trick correctly. If you want a full guide on how to trick with all of these operators, let me know down in the comments and I actually will make one if enough people actually want that to be a video idea. Another piece of utility that you need to learn how to use on defense is secondary informational gadgets. These include barbed wire, bulletproof cameras, and proximity alarms. If you're playing ranked, chances are you are solo queue, which is why you're hard stuck in your rank and you're watching YouTube videos to get better. Trust me, I get it, I used to be there too. If you're solo queuing, a lot of the times the information gadgets that you're putting down, like barbed wire, like proximity alarms, or like bulletproof cameras, your teammates aren't going to use, whether it be because they're not playing off of them properly or because they're just not paying attention to the information that the gadget is providing. So what I do is I make up a strat that is self-sufficient for me and I give myself that utility. If I'm playing Rafters on Clubhouse with Azami, I'm going to keep my barbed wire for myself. One on my Rafters staircase and one on my lower garage staircase or my Rafters door. It doesn't matter. I'm giving myself that informational utility because I know as a player I'm going to act off of it. If I know someone's on my barbed wire, I'm going to swing them. If I hear a proximity alarm that I placed down in the area that I'm playing, now I know where to flank and where to push and where to swing and where to hold. A lot of your times your teammates will just ignore sound cues. They won't even use the information. So just save it for yourself and learn how to swing and play off of it, and you will get a lot more value out of those secondary gadgets that you weren't even properly using before. The next tip that I'm going to give you is you need to learn why the site setup is the way that it is. Now, something that's pretty default for the gym bedroom site on top floor of Clubhouse is this vaultable rotate next to this reinforcement here. But why is there a rotate here in the first place? Well, it's so you can rotate into the main hall and play top main stairs, but I guarantee you knew that. Something you might not know though is why is it a vaultable rotate? Why isn't it a crouch rotate or a standing rotate or the entire wall open? Why is it specifically vaultable? If you don't know the answer to questions like that when you go into a site and be honest with yourself, then you don't properly know how to play off of that site setup in the first place. The reason specifically that this rotate is vaultable, if you were curious, is because people will get on this drone hole and shoot the feet of people who are inside of bathroom. If you make this vaultable, they can't do that because there's a wooden wall here. So that was just a quick little information. But now you know, because you know how the site setup works, now you know never to peek that drone hole and stand in front of the drone hole, because now you know people can peek off of it, right? So just by learning why the site setup is the way it is, you learned a new tip that you never even knew before. Let's take this quad wall for example. A lot of people will just put feed holes all across this quad wall with a rotate on the right just like this, and they'll call it a day. You don't want to do this. Not only is setting it up like this wrong, but playing inside of the actual site as a defender is wrong too. Because the entire purpose of these feet holes is so that if an attacker walks in, you have long angles that can watch them and they can't see you, because they're feet holes and not head holes, right? So you can deny anybody planting in here. But if you're a defender and you're sitting behind these feet holes, now you're exposed to that doorway if they've taken construction control. So now, just because you learned why these feet holes exist, you now know not to play here, right? So again, just learning the site setup and why the site setup is the way that it is important if you actually want to get better at the game. Now, I talked about earlier how making feet holes here with a rotate here is not a good idea, because you actually want to be reinforcing this wall here with an optional rotate on the right side as well. Reinforcing this wall here allows you to rotate through the Logi gold wall just like this. And now you won't be exposed to the window on the other side of that reinforcement. If you're not going to be playing inside of Logi though, and you have maybe a mirror setup instead that requires more reinforcements, then you would take this reinforcement off. But now, because you know why that reinforcement is there, you're more flexible in understanding as to when to and when to not use it. So again, you need to learn why things are set up the way that they are in order to get better at the game on defense. Something else that you need to be doing on defense is playing way more passive on mirror windows or deployable shields. So again, I'm going to bring you into a custom game. If the default plant is right here on this wall and you're playing mirror, you have a nitro cell that you can throw over to kill the person who is on this plant. So why would you literally ever peek that mirror? You wouldn't, right? As an attacker, I know that defenders are way too aggressive on their mirrors. So I'll sit here and I'll sit here and pre-fire and actually try to kill the mirror because I know they're going to swing me because I know they're dumb. But if that mirror never peeks me, that's really scary for me because now if I try to go for the default plant, he's going to nitro me, he's going to push me, he's going to do whatever it may be. And now you can bait out the nitro, but you can't bait out a player who's behind the bomb chassis. You can't bait out a player who's behind the door because he just rotated off of his mirror. And you can't bait the player who's on his mirror who's easily able to swing you when you go for the plant a second time, right? So if you just don't peek your mirror this entire time, even though there's 3 people here, there's a guy going for a plant, there's a glass, there's smokes, there's Grimbees going everywhere, just don't peek it. There's no reason to really ever peek your mirrors unless you need to because they're rushing into sight or something, right? People over peek their mirrors way too much. And the same thing can be said for deployable shields. If I have a deployable shield and I'm inside of server right here, I have a deployable shield next to the server rack and it's watching the pixel angle into tunnel, I never need to peek this unless they actually try to push up tunnel. Then I peek, right? Because again, we talked about reaction time on attack or on defense. They have to react to you peeking a shield, which is much harder for them, especially because they don't know if you're going to peek the top left, right? They don't know if you're going to peek the top right of the shield. They don't know that you're going to peek the side of the shield. So they're going to have to react to you, which again is a lose gunfight for them. So don't peek the shield. Don't give them the satisfaction of the pre-fire because you're trying to pre-fire and get a kill through this pixel. Just sit here, look at them, stare at them for a minute, and the second they push in, kill them, go back to your shield. Kill him, go back to your shield, right? Be way more passive on shields and mirror windows, and I promise you, you will rank up more. Something else that you need to learn how to do on defense is learning when to give up the site for a retake. There are some times whenever you're holding a bomb site that it is better to actually let them have the bomb site and go for a plant so that you can retake it later. Like I said, swinging is a lot better than holding angles. So let's say that I'm playing smoke, right? They have elbow control. They have a guy in pillar. They might even have a guy tower stairs. They have a guy on these head holes. Maybe a guy on the hatch that just dropped trying to go for a plant. Whatever. They're swarming the bomb site, right? It would be a mistake for me to sit here and try to swing with a shotgun. It would be a mistake for me to hold this angle and kill people trying to go for the plant, right? Because the guy elbow's going to kill me. The guy pillar's going to kill me and wallbang me. They're going to drone me. They're going to call out. They're going to flash above me, right? So it would be better for me to just literally leave and then go for a retake after the bomb is done, right? Because naturally, attackers are going to start holding angles and backing out of the bomb site once the bomb is down, which makes it a lot easier for you to go into the bomb site. So let's say they planted default right here, right? They have a guy elbow, they have a guy, let's say pillar, and they have a guy on these head holes. 1v3 situation, right? If I'm smoke and I backed out of sight and I backed into freezer, how would I handle this? Well, first, you got to quick peek, right? Let's quick peek the guy pillar. He's not peeking me. Okay, I'm going to go over here. Okay, no one's on plant. I know no one's on bomb. That means they probably backed out in the box or on the head holes, right? So mental note right there. Now I'm quick picking, right? I take the elbow gunfight. I win the elbow gunfight, or I smoke it off. He backs up, whatever it may be. Elbow's not an issue. Now I take the guy with pillar, right? I'm taking the guy pillar. I'm taking the guy pillar. I either kill him or we back up. We take another gunfight, right? But while I'm doing that, I'm conscious of my head holes here. So maybe I smoke pillar. Maybe I smoke pillar and I peek the head holes, right? But this entire time, while I've been smoking, going for kills, holding angles, quick peeking, I've been taking space. Notice how now I'm on the double door to sight. But when I started, I was in freezer on the head holes. I did all of that. I'm retaking, which was way easier for me to do because they're holding angles, they're being passive, and that's a lot easier to take space from passive players than it is from aggressive players, unless you're baiting, right? Which you don't want to do if they have the bomb down because you're going to waste time. So it's a lot easier to retake sites in some certain scenarios than it is to just like hold it down and try to like be more aggressive and hold space that you don't need to be holding, right? So learn when to play for a retake in situations like that instead of just being stubborn and holding the bomb site. So we just talked about learning when to give up the site and retake it, but now I actually want to teach you how to retake the site. Why is my mouse on the screen? There's a lot of issues that people make whenever they retake sites, so I'm going to quickly address all of them so that you can be better at defending in Rainbow Six Siege. If you're trying to retake a site because they planted, Never hold angles and bait. A good attacker will never swing you. Why will they never swing you? They'll never swing you because they don't have to. Why don't they have to? Because you have to come to them. You have to kill them and defuse the bomb. So why would I be swinging you and risking my life taking a gunfight I don't need to take when I could just hold this and wait for you to swing red stairs and then get a free kill, right? So never bait and never be passive and sit still and hold angles on defense if you're going for a retake. I see too many people doing this. You're just wasting time and you're going to lose the round. So always be trying to take space. If I know that they planted, let's say on the bomb chassis right here, they have a guy in rafters, they have a guy on this wall, it's a 1v2, I'm trying to retake and defuse the bomb. I'm not gonna sit and hold the window here and hope the guy rafters peeks me. That's dumb, right? I'm also not gonna sit on any one of these holes and hope that the guy on the wall swings me, because he's not gonna do that. He's gonna sit on rappel, he's gonna sit on the left side of the wall and hold the angle and swing whenever I'm defusing, and he gets a sound call. So instead, I need to swing them, right? If I know a kid's rafters, I'll use this hole. Okay, he's not there, I'll use this hole. I'm clearing, right? I'm clearing. He's there, pre-fire, right? Maybe I clear the wall first because the guy's in the corner or he's on the rafters staircase. Okay, I'm quick peeking. I don't see him on the right side. Okay, I'm looking at lower. I'm seeing if he's repelled. He's not repelled. Okay, I'm quick peeking the left side. I'm taking space. I'm taking space. Now I'm behind server rack. Let's take the gunfight with the rafters kid. No one's in rafters. Maybe he's on the staircase. Maybe I killed him earlier. Okay, let's go quad wall. The entire time though, I'm retaking, right? You always want to be trying to take space because you only have so much time. Then go for the pick, right? Defuse, fake defuse. When he swings, go for the pick. Maybe even hard stick it. If you hard stick it to 3 bumps out of 4 bumps in order to defuse, then he's gonna swing. Then you kill him, then you defuse, right? So that's how you need to be retaking, is you need to isolate your 1v1s. I isolated the guy rafters, then I killed the wall guy. Or maybe I killed the wall guy, then I killed a rafters kid. But also positioning plays into this too. If you know there's a kid on these head holes, you know there's a kid on the wall, don't swing out this door. You're gonna get shot from the guy on the wall and the head holes. You're gonna have to take 2 gut finds at once. Don't do that. Instead, take the wall first. You quick peek, you pre-fire, no one's there. Okay, now take rafters. Don't leave this position on radio until you've killed the rafters kid. If you can't kill the rafters kid and he's close, then don't swing out here, or else they're gonna coordinate a pinch, right? Maybe rotate to red stairs. Now I'm on red stairs. Because the rafters head holes can't see me and maybe he's close on this wall, I could swing this kid for absolutely free, right? Then isolate this 1v1. I go to the head holes, pre-fire, quick peek, quick peek. Okay, I know he's close on the wall. Pre-fire, 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 easy kill, defuse the bomb, right? Isolate your 1v1s, isolate it with positioning, with gun skill, with rotations, make sure you're being aggressive, don't hold angles, don't bait, and you will be much better at retaking a Rainbow Six Siege. Now that we're actually here though, I want to talk about one other thing when you're trying to be a better defender, and that is holding power positions. A power position would be a position like rafters on Clubhouse, where if you die here, you probably are going to lose the round. But if you live here, you're probably going to win the round. That's why people will play Azami here. They'll put an Azami here. They'll put an Azami over here. Maybe they'll put a third Azami. Oh, I missed, but you get the idea. I don't have crosshairs on because I'm recording a video, but you get the idea. They're putting Azamis pretty much just everywhere because they're trying to hold down this position for as long as possible because they know this is a power position. What are some other examples of power positions? Piano on Cafe, Trophy on Oregon, Top Main on Villa for Statue, Library on Chalet for Top Floor. These are all examples of power positions where the longer you hold it, the better off your team will be. And if you die there, chances are your team's not going to win because they have direct sight pressure, right? If you have a power position, you also need to play differently. And most other positions in the game, whether it be top red, in cash, on the hole, in radio, even in CC, in construction, whatever it may be, you have an escape route back to site. So you don't need to play your life. If they drone you, if they're pressuring you, you can leave. A power position, like rafters, does not have that luxury because people will put head holes here instead of a rotate. So now you don't have any safe rotate options back to site, which means instead of playing aggressive or peeking, you need to play as passive as humanly possible without dying, and you need to hold this for as long as possible because chances are you're probably going to die here. Now you might be wondering, why not just put a rotate here? Well, that's because you're gonna die here. Putting a rotate here and giving yourself a rotate back to site won't do anything because that wall's open and they have a window here. All you're doing by putting a rotate here is allowing the people who are in rafters attacking to have a direct rotate onto the bomb. Whereas before, they would have to go through this window and get shot by red, get shot by this hole, get shot by a person swinging from the bomb chassis, right? So you just essentially made it way easier for attackers, and you're not saving your life by doing it in the process. So power positions, just stay here for as long as possible, even if it means throwing your life away, which is called playing your life, and you will, I promise you, win a lot more games in Rainbow Six Siege. Moving on to tip 15, you need to learn how to manage your utility based on other utility that your teammates have. What does this mean? Well, let's say that I'm playing an operator like Smoke, and I'm playing CC on Clubhouse, but we don't have any wall denial to keep this wall closed. We don't have a Turbo to slow him down. We don't have a Tachanka to maybe slow him down a little bit. We don't have a Goyo. We don't have Bandit, Cade, whatever it may be. This wall's getting open, and there's nothing we can do about it except for my smoke canisters. Well, then I know if we want to slow them down, I have to use these smoke canisters super early, and I can't use them for the plant, right? Otherwise, they're going to take site fast, which is really bad. You want to be wasting time on defense like I talked about earlier. But now, if you know we have a Turbo, we have a Cade, we have a Bandit for the wall, you have something to slow them down, well then maybe you can focus your utility for the last 30 seconds of the round. Don't use smoke grenades. Don't use them on Con. Don't use them on top red. Don't use them on the window, because you know for a fact they're going to have to come through the wall or through rafters in order to get the default plant down right here, right? So then just have holes up here, right, that you can use while sitting inside of cache with your visible throw trajectory on right here. And now you can deny the plant because you saved all three due to the fact that you were conscious of what your team brought and you use your utility accordingly. So just make sure that you're managing your utility based off of your teammates' utility and playstyle, and you'll get a lot better at this game, I promise you. But let's say you weren't even able to make it to the last few seconds of the round because you died. Well, then you need to be giving comms on who you died to. One of the biggest mistakes that I see people making in this game is they're not giving comms onto people that kill them, which essentially can make it to where other people on your team die to the person that you just died to because you didn't call it out. I actually, out of all the content creators that you watch, am probably the worst at this, which is why I'm suggesting it, because sometimes I'll die, and because I'm trying to entertain stream, I'll just be like, fuck, or I'll scream, or I'll make a joke, and then someone else dies, and I was like, where's my call out? And I'm like, oh, dude, sorry, I forgot. Because genuinely having just one call out can be the difference between your teammates living or dying, which can be the difference between you winning or losing. So make sure every time you die, you're giving a call out as to where they killed you, then where they're going in next if you saw them move in the kill cam, and who the operator was, because some utility can actually be helpful if you know where it is. So if I die, I'll be like, hey, top main, crouch, there's a Zofia, this is an easy pre-fire, right? Or I could be like, hey, top red stairs, rotating 90, there's a Zero putting a flank camera for Astro, right? That's a great call out that lets my teammates know where I died from, where he's going to next, what to do about it based off of the utility and the playstyle, and also how they can potentially win that gunfight. That is a good and concise call out, and it's something that you need to start implementing into your ranked games. Now, the final defender tip that I'll be going over in today's video is you don't need to be forcing a strat. Like I said earlier, in power positions, yes, you want to be forcing that strategy because you want to be making sure that you hold that for as long as possible. But when it comes to 95% of every other strat that you do in Siege, you never want to force it. Now, this is very map specific. On smaller maps, you want to be a bit more stubborn with how you're holding and what you're doing with your strats because you don't have a lot of space that you can give up for free without just throwing the game. However, on bigger maps, if you're roaming, they have a lot of rooms that they can use to clear you, and you have a lot of rooms you can fall back on. So if you're roaming with a pulse C4 and you're trying to get a below kill, but it's a 2v5 on site, stop trying to force that C4 kill and just go help your teammates. Sometimes your little solo queue strat that you're trying to do is a lot worse and can hinder your team than just adapting and doing what needs to be done instead. But with that out of the way, that is it for today's video. My name is Alka. Check out the next video, and I hope I'll see you there. Later.